Hey, I'm Robin and this is Tiffany Seed. We have recently purchased a house in Burlington. We're originally from South Africa. We moved here about 3 years ago, so we're quite happy that we were finally able to purchase a property. So we got to a point where we started looking at properties. I started looking at properties, and we're at a point where we were a couple months out of actually being able to put down a down payment. We'd been saving for a down payment for a couple of years, and it was actually my wife that started looking for properties. And I was hesitant because we just didn't have the down payment yet. So she was looking at properties. I kept telling her to wait. We don't have the money yet. Just wait until we actually do have it. And then she came across Buy.ca on Facebook, and she said to me, "Hey, look at this." And I said, "That's not possible. There's no way that they're just going to give you money for your down payment." So I didn't believe her at all. So she put through an inquiry, and very quickly we got a response. We set up a call for Buy.ca to explain everything to us. We got the explanation. My doubts disappeared at that point in time. After the call, we were quite relieved. But during the call, they set us up with an estate agent or with an agent. Her name was Manisha. She was absolutely fantastic, and I'll explain a little bit more about it. But yeah, my doubts had disappeared, and we continued our journey, but now shopping through Buy.ca. Rather than any other site. I think it was a day or two after we were introduced to the agent, we already had eyes on that property, which was quite a bit further away than where we actually ended up buying. And it was quite far out of her way. But it was that same afternoon, I think. That same day, she drove probably about an hour out to meet us at the property, where we ended up putting an offer down on the property. But Manisha, the agent, was extremely honest and extremely helpful throughout the journey. We pretty much relieved that she sort of talked us out of that property after we put the offer, and there were counter offers coming, and she sort of talked us out of it, and we couldn't be more thankful for that, because we would have been in an area where we would have been extremely miserable. So time went on. We looked at quite a few more properties. We ended up putting another offer on another property. And we did a house inspection, and it came back with mold. Now, we were kind of okay with that. And I just want to speak about how good Manisha actually was as an agent. Usually an agent, like if you had an offer down on a property, they would have pushed you, just doesn't matter, just let's follow through with this so they can be done with you. What happened with Manisha, she actually told us to walk away from the offer, where she had it in her back pocket already, but she convinced us to walk away, meaning that she would have had to continue working with us, looking for a property. Again, we couldn't be more grateful that actually happened.
Yeah.
So then couple of weeks later, we found this property, where she came in. We put down an offer. It wasn't even at asking. It was quite a cheeky offer. Manisha sort of facilitated everything, and they ended up accepting without having to counter on cost at all. So Manisha did fantastic from that point of view. So once the offer had been accepted, Manisha put us in contact with a house inspector that came through and did the inspection. Everything was perfect. And the next steps were now to sort of get the deal going. So Manisha then put us through in contact with Perch, who sort of got things going around the mortgage. They were absolutely fantastic to work with. The platform was really easy to work with. They were able to get us really good rates. We spoke to the bank directly as well, and they weren't able to give us rates what Perch was able to get us. From there, they also put us in contact with lawyers to do the transactions, and they got us, we got a discount through that as well with the partnership with Buy.ca. So as you can see, we're already saving money all the way through, from the house inspection to the mortgage, to the attorneys. And that was pretty much our experience with Buy.ca throughout. It wasn't just about getting money back that we could use towards our down payment. They really helped us every step of the way. So every little bit where we saved, it ended up being a huge amount. And if you think back to the beginning, I was in the mindset that we were a couple months out. We cannot buy right now. And it was only because of Buy.ca that we are sitting now in our own house in Canada, where we would still be in our rental. So what does it mean owning a house in Canada? So I mentioned in the very beginning, we moved here 3 years ago from South Africa. And we were fortunate enough for our companies to move us over. But we had been renting for 3 years. And there's something about renting a property where you cannot feel settled after moving into a new country. So yes, we had moved to a new country and we were starting to settle in, but not completely settled because we didn't actually own the property. It is only now that we own the property, we can settle in properly and make the home what we would like it to be. And you cannot do that with a rental.